1998, 5 teens entered an abandoned house to play hide-and-seek. Only 4 came out. What the police found inside still terrifies the town today. Before we start, let me warn you, what you're about to hear isn't some random internet creepypasta. This story is real. Police reports, news archives, and witness accounts all confirm it happened. In 1998, a group of 5 teenagers from the quiet town of Collinsville, Illinois, played a simple game of hide and seek in an abandoned house on the edge of their neighborhood. Only 4 of them came out. What they saw that night still haunts every one of them to this day. It was October 12th, 1998, a cold, windy night just 2 weeks before Halloween. The town was already buzzing with stories about the old Grayson House, a decaying 2-story home surrounded by dead oak trees. The house had been empty for nearly 40 years since the mysterious disappearance of the Grayson family. Husband, wife, and their 9-year-old daughter, Emily. Locals claimed you could still hear a little girl's laughter echoing from the attic at night. Most people dismissed it as an urban legend until that night. 5 high schoolers, Jake, Melanie, Chris, Tyler, and Jenna, decided to explore the house. They were filming for a school project about urban myths and real hauntings. But halfway through filming, someone, probably Jake, suggested they play hide-and-seek inside the house for fun. The others laughed, but they agreed. They set one rule. No one leaves the house until everyone is found. The camera captured everything. At least, the parts police recovered later. They entered around 9:47 p.m. The camera light flickered as they stepped inside. The floorboards creaked like whispers beneath their feet. The air was heavy, thick, as if the house itself was breathing. Dust hung in the air like fog. Old photographs lined the hallway, faces scratched out, frames shattered. There was something strange about the silence. Even when they spoke, their voices seemed swallowed by the dark. Chris volunteered to count first. 1, 2, 3. His voice echoed as the others scattered, giggling nervously. The camera followed Jake as he ran upstairs. Melanie hid in a closet full of moth-eaten clothes. Tyler ducked into the basement, flashlight trembling in his hand. Jenna squeezed under a broken bed frame. When Chris reached 20, he opened his eyes and called out, "Ready or not, here I come." That's when things started to go wrong. The footage showed him walking through the narrow hallway, whispering names, pretending to scare his friends, but something whispered back. At first, you'd think it was an echo, until it said his name. Chris. He froze. The voice came again, clearer, right behind him. "Chris, come find me." The camera shook as he turned, breathing heavily, the beam of his flashlight catching a little girl standing at the end of the hall, pale, barefoot, in an old nightgown, her head slightly tilted. He whispered, "Melanie, cut the act." But the girl didn't move. The footage cut to static for 7 seconds. When it came back, Chris was gone. Jake's camera, still recording upstairs, caught Melanie opening her closet door. She whispered, "Is it over?" But nobody answered. She stepped into the hallway, clutching her phone light. The house felt colder now. She heard footsteps above her, slow, deliberate, dragging. Then came a whisper, "Do you want to play again?" Melanie looked up toward the attic door at the top of the stairs. It was open now. She hadn't noticed it before. The light flickered again as she climbed the stairs. Each creak sounded like a heartbeat. When she reached the attic, her flashlight caught dozens of tiny handprints smeared across the walls, like a child had been touching everything with dusty fingers. In the corner stood a small wooden wardrobe. Its door creaked open on its own. Inside was a little girl's dress, white, torn, and covered in old, dark stains. And then she heard it. Soft laughter. Not from the wardrobe. From behind her. Melanie screamed. The camera tumbled to the floor. All you could see were her legs being dragged into the darkness. By 10:21 p.m., Jake and Jenna were the only ones left. Tyler's voice had vanished from the basement. They found his flashlight still on, lying next to an old mirror that was cracked down the center. The recording captured Jake trying to act brave, whispering, "It's just a prank. They're hiding." But his voice trembled. He and Jenna decided to leave, except the front door wouldn't open. They pulled, kicked, slammed it, but it was as if the door was nailed shut from the inside. Then they heard it, the counting. 1, 2, 3. It was a child's voice, echoing through the entire house. Jenna whispered, "Who's counting?" But Jake didn't answer. His camera panned toward the staircase. A small shadow stood there, holding a teddy bear. The child tilted her head and smiled. "It's my turn to hide," she said. Then the lights went out. When police found the footage days later, it ended abruptly after a loud scream and the sound of footsteps running upstairs. The last frame showed Jake's flashlight lying in the attic, facing the wardrobe. The little girl's dress was gone. Authorities launched a full search. They found no sign of Jake or Melanie. The other 3 were found unconscious outside the house at dawn, their clothes soaked, shoes missing, and none of them remembered what happened inside. Tyler later told investigators he woke up in the middle of the road a mile away, hearing a voice whisper, "Your turn." He moved out of Collinsville within weeks. Jenna refused to talk about that night ever again. Chris spent months in therapy, insisting he kept hearing the sound of counting in his sleep. But here's the truly horrifying part. When police searched the Grayson House attic, they found a list scratched into the wooden floorboards beneath the wardrobe. It contained names. The first 3 were Harold Grayson, Mary Grayson, Emily Grayson. And below those, 5 new names: Jake, Melanie, Chris, Tyler, Jenna. The handwriting matched a 9-year-old's. The house still stands today, though the county fenced it off in 2001 after more disappearances were reported. Locals say on certain nights, if you walk close enough, you can still hear a faint voice counting from inside. 1, 2, 3, and sometimes you'll see a small, pale figure peeking from the attic window, holding a teddy bear, waiting for someone to play again. In 2023, a group of paranormal investigators entered the Grayson House live on stream. Their feed cut out after just 7 minutes. When police arrived hours later, the house was empty, but all 6 of their names were freshly carved beside the old ones on the floor. No bodies, no footprints, just that list, one that keeps growing. So, next time you hear a child laughing in the dark, or your phone randomly picks up whispering when no one's around, maybe don't ignore it. Maybe she's still looking for players. And if you ever play hide and seek, don't hide in the dark. Don't stay silent too long, because someone, somewhere, might still be counting. 1, 2, 3.